what was the main struggle or the main problem that you encountered switching from coaching running backs in the on-form formation to coaching receivers in Pivoto's new formation, new offense that he brought in?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. Coach Cooley, who's our offensive coordinator, he worked for a guy at Central Arkansas that was a Louisiana Tech guy and had been there for a bunch of years. And it just so happens it was pretty much the same offense that I ran in college. So it was kind of an easy transition for me. I knew all the lingo, I knew all the terminology. For myself, the only thing that was a little bit different is, obviously with playing quarterback, receiver, and you know where they're supposed to be, and they're supposed to catch the ball. It was just the little things, the ins and outs of it. I had to do a lot of research and talk to some people, to find out exactly how I wanted to coach those guys fundamentally, and like I said, just all the little things about playing the position.
I mentioned earlier Brian Lawrence and William Griffins could be your so-called projects as running back coach. Your receiving coach, maybe Darius Duffy, describe to me the improvements that you saw in Darius Duffy that allowed him to be so successful last year.
Well, the thing about Duff is he's kind of a self-made guy. I've never met a guy that worked harder than Darius Duffy. And that it showed last year. You know what I mean? He's not the fastest guy in the world. He's not the quickest guy in the world. Unbelievable hands. Very, very hard worker. We were just excited to have Duff out there. He was a senior. He was a leader for us. Obviously set the single season record this year, which is, that's not a credit to anybody but himself. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. We coach him hard every day. We tell him where to be, but when it really gets down to that, Darius is he's kind of a coach on the field in some respects.
Well, from Youngstown to Natchitoches, Louisiana, we'll talk more about last season and this season to come when we come right back.
Chronicling the times of Northwestern State University, this is Demon Life.
Welcome back to Demon Life. I'm your host, Brady Renard, and I'm here with the recruiting coordinator / receiving coach for the Demon football team, Matt Kubik. Matt, last year we really struggled in the passing game, lots of interceptions. What did you do over the offseason to try to improve that?
Well, right now we're fortunate enough where, we've got a couple quarterbacks out there. Paul Harris is going to be back. Tyler Wolf's going to be back. Basically what we do as coaches right now is we're not allowed to be out there with the guys at all until spring practice starts. So what we do is, we script up a pass scout for them. They go out there, they do 7-on-7, they throw 1-on-1s, and basically all we do is just send them out there with the ball and let them work. We can't meet with them at all. We can't talk about what we want them to do. We can't do anything football-wise except for just give them the script, draw up some of the routes, and send them out there and hope that they know what they're doing. So, they've been out there. They throw 2 and 3 times a week. Receivers-wise, we've got a jugs machine that similar to a baseball machine that shoots footballs at them. We're doing different drills with tennis balls, all different things like that those guys are kind of doing on their own right now until we start spring ball in 2 weeks. And then, once we start spring ball, then it's hands-on. We get the 15 practices and we're rolling again.
The QB situation last year ended up in shambles. We thought we were good, having a senior and then a junior and then an incoming freshman who was supposed to be groomed. Didn't happen that way. Injuries hit the seniors, injuries hit our junior. Wolf went down. And then Paul Harris had to step up. Is Paul Harris going to be the starter next season?
Well, Paul obviously, had a tremendous year for a true freshman quarterback. There's not too many people that could do what Paul did, just being tough and not so much physically tough, but mentally tough. That's a hard thing to make a jump right from high school, to obviously to the college game. But, I feel like we've got 3 good guys coming into spring right now. Paul's obviously healthy. He's ready to roll. Tyler Wolf just came off his shoulder surgery. He should be good to go a couple practices in the spring. Steven Stamey is our third string guy right now. So Paul and Tyler are going to kind of battle it out in the spring and, give them equal reps and see, exactly where Tyler's shoulder's at. But, with both guys, we feel like we can do a lot of things. Paul obviously can run the ball a little bit. Tyler's a big, presence in the pocket. So, we feel pretty comfortable at quarterback right now. We just let those guys battle it out and see what happens in the fall.
You were possibly put into one of the toughest situations in college football, coming off of a low 0-11 season, getting promoted to becoming recruiting coordinator. What were your struggles knowing that the team that you're trying to recruit for didn't win a single game?
Yeah, it's different. You got to kind of take a different angle every year, depending on if we went 11-0 or 0-11, you got to come up with a way to make the recruits want to come to your place. I think the way we kind of sold them this year was, hey, 0-11, that means we need to fill some spots. That means you're going to have an opportunity to play early. And to tell you the truth, that's what we're facing. We still we lost a lot of we went 0-11, but we still lost a bunch of seniors. So we've still got some spots to fill. I think that was kind of our angle in recruiting this year was, hey, come to our place now. You're going to be able to play early. We're not going to promise you anything, but you're going to be able to compete for a starting job. Right off the bat.
What do you believe it is about Northwestern State that? What's their main allure that allows these players to continue fourth best recruiting class to come despite 0-11 records?
Well, obviously, we've got a beautiful campus here. We've got a beautiful town. The improvements of the stadium are tremendous with the new turf and the Jumbotron. But to be honest with you, I really think it's the people in Natchitoches that help us. When we take these guys out, to the dinners and around town, it's unbelievable the support of the community and how many people are coming up to them, asking them, are you going to be a Demon, putting a little bit of that pressure on them. The people here in Natchitoches kind of make them feel at home. It's a close-knit community. I think that a lot of guys can kind of relate to that, as opposed to maybe some other schools where it's a big city and you get a little bit lost in the shuffle. Natchitoches and Northwestern State, I feel, is kind of a closer-knit community where those guys, really fit in well.
What was our focus recruiting-wise going into this season? Who were we not necessarily the names of the players, but the types of players that we were trying to get to come here?
We're obviously always looking for great guys. Great students as well as great athletes, but I think this year we tried to fill a void. Offensive line wise and defensive end was kind of our first initial focus. I think we did that. We've signed 4 or 5 good O linemen, signed 3 or 4 good defensive ends that are going to help us out. Because that's always an issue. Depth is always an issue on the offensive line and defensive line. A lot of injuries and things happen up there. And then speed wise, you're in Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas. You're always going to find those speed guys, and I think we found another good group of those guys as well again this year.
What would be some of the main recruits that to be watching out for that maybe that will make freshman impacts on the football team?
Well, I'll tell you what, the great thing about signing as many guys as we did is that there's no telling. You know what I mean? They tell us that we've got a great recruiting class, but you're not really ever going to know until you get them out there in the fall, get them out there in September, see exactly what they can do. But, there's some guys, that come to mind. Ramil Morris is a guy down from Bogalusa who's just electric. He played quarterback down there for him. He could play anything from, in the Wildcat formation. He could be a receiver. He could be a running back. He can do a bunch of different things. O-line-wise, we signed 2 big tackles out of Texas that we're looking for, some great things to come from. On the defensive side of the ball, a couple safeties and corners, that can fill some voids out there that we're pretty excited about.
College recruiting is a lot more in-depth than what people think. A lot of people think that you only get high school players, but you also get transfer students as well. What transfer students did we get this year, or were we really looking for transfer students this season?
Transfer guys are, they're kind of a different breed because they're coming from a different university. We did get 1 true transfer from Arkansas State, a guy by the name of Mike Adams, who's going to play on the D-line for us. We're excited about Mike. The other kind of transfers that we're talking about are junior college players. I think we did a great job this year, junior college-wise. We ended up getting 2 guys in at midterm who are already in class, and they're going to be with us with spring ball. A receiver by the name of T.C. Henry, who's a speed guy, true speed guy that can go get the thing. And then also we filled another void, like I said, at O-line. A guy by the name of Sherrod Sorrells out of Texas that's going to help us, depth-wise. Probably going to end up playing a little bit of guard for us on the O-line.